There is a bloke in our yard named Harry. Every single week, Harry drives a long haul run up to Scotland, and every single time he pulls out of the gates, the passenger seat of his Scania is completely empty. But if you look closely through the windscreen, there is always a small, faded blue baseball cap sitting right in the middle of the dashboard. Harry is a quiet, respected driver, a 30-year veteran of the road who keeps himself to himself. For years, the younger lads in the yard joked about the empty seat, making up stories about how he was haunted, or how he was just a grumpy old bastard who didn't want any company. But one rainy Tuesday midnight, I found myself sitting opposite Harry in a greasy spoon cafe off the A1 near Doncaster. We were both waiting out our tacho breaks, wrapping our hands around 2 mugs of strong, steaming tea. I looked out the window at his lorry, saw the silhouette of the blue cap on his dash, and I finally found the courage to ask him. "Harry, mate," I said quietly, "what's the story with the empty seat and the cap?" Harry took a slow, heavy sip of his tea, and he didn't speak for a long time. He just stared into his mug, his weathered face looking incredibly tired in the harsh fluorescent light of the cafe. And then, in a soft, gravelly voice, he told me a story that completely broke my heart and changed how I look at my own life forever. "I had a lad once," Harry said, his voice barely louder than the hum of the fridge behind the counter. "His name was Leo. When Leo was about 8 or 9 years old, he was absolutely obsessed with big lorries. He'd sit on the steps of my cab on a Saturday morning while I was cleaning the chrome, pretending to drive, making his own little engine noises. Every summer holiday, when the schools broke up, he'd look at me with these massive, hopeful eyes and beg me, 'Take me with you on the Scotland run this week, Dad. Just once. I'll be quiet. I promise.' But I always had an excuse ready. 'Too busy this week, mate. The weather's going to be rubbish. The transport manager won't allow passengers.' The truth was, I was chasing the overtime. I was obsessed with the overtime, working 70 hours a week, fighting for every extra pound of holiday pay and night shift bonuses. I told myself I was doing it for him. I wanted to buy him the newest PlayStation, the designer trainers, and the expensive holiday packages. I thought being a top-tier dad meant working myself to the bone so I could buy him everything I never had when I was a lad. But Leo didn't care about the plastic. He didn't care about the designer labels or the gadgets. He just wanted to sit in that passenger seat, look out the window at the motorway, and talk to his dad. As the years rolled on, Leo stopped asking to come on the runs. He turned 14, he got his own smartphone, and he slowly retreated into his own digital world. The gap between us grew wider and wider, but I was still too busy driving, still chasing the next bonus, still telling myself I'd make it up to him next summer. Then, a rainy Tuesday night, just like this one, I was parked up in a lay-by near Carlisle when my phone rang. It was my wife screaming down the line. Leo had been riding his new motorbike home from a mate's house when a driver failed to stop at a junction on the dual carriageway. He was gone before the ambulance even arrived at the scene. He was only 17. Harry paused, his hands shaking slightly as he cleared his throat. "When I went into his bedroom to clear out his things," he whispered, "I found that blue baseball cap sitting right at the back of his wardrobe. He'd bought it with his pocket money when he was 9, specifically for his trip to Scotland. He kept it for 8 years, waiting for the day I'd finally say yes. I never did. So now he comes with me on every single run. The cap stays on the dash and the passenger seat stays completely empty because that seat belongs to him, and it's the only promise I've ever managed to keep to my son. We sat in that greasy spoon in absolute silence, the rain hammering against the glass, neither of us saying a word. I looked at Harry, this tough, hardened veteran of the road, and I realized he was carrying a weight heavier than any cargo. This is a story I want every single parent and every single child in this country to hear today. We are raising a generation of kids who are connected to the entire world through a 5-inch screen, but completely disconnected from the people sitting right next to them at the dinner table. And we are raising parents who are so obsessed with the hustle, so consumed by earning the next quid to buy more stuff, that they are completely missing the childhoods of their own flesh and blood. We think providing things is the same as providing ourselves. It is a lie, mate. Your kids do not need the newest gadgets, the flashy clothes, or the expensive lifestyle. They just need your time, your presence, and your attention. The only currencies in this life that you can never, ever earn back once they are gone. If you have got kids at home, put the phone down, cancel the voluntary overtime this weekend, and go sit in the passenger seat of their lives. Because the road will always be there tomorrow, but your children won't be children for long. Do not wait until the passenger seat is empty before you realize who was supposed to be sitting there. If Harry's story gave you a proper reality check today, drop a like on the video. Subscribe for more honest, real stories from the UK tarmac. And let me know in the comments, what is one thing you are going to change today to be more present for the people you love? Look after your family's mates, prioritize what actually matters, and keep the shiny side up. Over and out.